Which plan do you support, Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
The Affordable Care Act.
And what is it about Obamacare that you do not like?
I just think that there's a lot of holes in it, and it needs to be revamped. I think
And you think
hasn't been thought out.
You think the Affordable Care Act is a better plan than Obamacare?
Better, but I'm not happy with that.
Y'all see the power of information. Y'all see the power of education. Y'all see the power of exposure. A lot of people still do not know it, that ACA and OBAMACARE are the same thing. Why? Because they were listening to people, network, that was telling them that it is different. Welcome back. How are y'all doing? Thank you to my return subscribers, and if you who are new here, thank you. On this channel, we go all out looking for what is buzzing the internet, whether it's from the news on the internet. We bring it down here just for us to be in the loop of what's going on out there. You like this kind of content? Please do not forget to subscribe and turn on your bell notification, and please give it a like so people can get to be aware, because just like I said, a lot of people still do not know that ACA and Obamacare are the same thing. And I know the more videos they can come across, you know what I mean, the more informed they can be. I'm going to be rolling you how some people are reacting. And education, we are learning every day, right? So if they don't know it, we just have to always put an educational videos, like information, whatnot, out there, that one day they are going to click it and they are gonna learn. How we roll you out, people are reacting, but drop it down there in the comment section. Are you shocked that we still got some people that do not know that these two how to say?
Hold up. Y'all actually didn't know Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are one and the same? Y'all made up the name. Y'all made it up. Y'all started calling it Obamacare. It had a name first. The name has always been the Affordable Care Act. Then y'all named it Obamacare. Did you forget? See, this is how I know y'all just hating indiscriminately. Y'all don't even know what y'all be hating. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he was black. That's what y'all do like. Why y'all ain't just look it up? Why you ain't just look it up? Yeah, I guess so. Y'all crying on the internet talking about your health care is about to be taken away and you don't know what you're gonna do. But when that man said he doesn't have a plan, he has a concept of a plan for health care, why didn't that scare you? Why did that scare you? Oh, nah, y'all are stupid. Oh, y'all need to be studied by people who are not stupid. You know, like those people you didn't believe during COVID, the scientists. That was the word I was looking for. Oh shit, sorry, the stupid almost caught me just now.
The healthcare system that you're saying sucks is Obamacare. We told you this would happen.
Shit. She got us, you guys. How do we put this in terms that they can understand?
What do you agree with, Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
I'm more sort towards the Affordable Care Act, but I'm also very sympathetic for people that don't have the ability to have proper medical insurance.
So the Affordable Health Care Act is still a better option than Obamacare?
Yes.
Do you support Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
Affordable Care Act.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Obama, so I don't support him in the Obama things that he's got going on. I'm actually really excited for President-elect Donald Trump, so.
Right. So you don't like anything Obama does and you prefer the Affordable Care Act?
Absolutely.
Do you support Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
I support Obamacare.
So if you were a senator and you could vote today, you would vote to keep Obamacare instead of the Affordable Care Act?
Yes.
Do you support Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
I guess the Affordable Care Act.
And why do you prefer the Affordable Care Act over Obamacare?
I'm not really sure. My girlfriend supports Trump, so I go with whatever she says.
What is the main difference between Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act?
One is you pay, and then the other one is Obama pays for you.
Right, Obama pays, pretty big difference.
Pretty big difference.
I believe that Obamacare, the premiums are too much, too high, so people end up paying more.
Right.
So I believe in the Affordable Care Act.
And so the Affordable Care Act is more affordable than Obamacare.
Right, correct.
Right.
Which is obvious based on the name.
It's in the name, right?
Right.
Why do you like the Affordable Care Act more than Obamacare?
Because I don't like Obama.
But you like the Affordable Care Act?
Yeah.
What if I told you Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing? Do you agree with the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare?
The affordable.
And why do you prefer the Affordable Care Act over Obamacare?
I just don't agree with the whole Obamacare policy thing that's going on. I just don't agree with it.
And do you believe that an informed citizenry is essential to a democracy?
Yes.
So you disagree with Obamacare?
Yes, I do.
Do you think insurance companies should be able to exclude people with pre-existing conditions?
No.
Do you agree that young people should be able to stay on their parents' plans until they are 26?
They should be able to, yes.
Do you agree that companies with 50 or more employees should provide health care?
I do.
And so by that logic, you would be for the Affordable Care Act?
Yes.
What plan do you support, Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
The Affordable Care Act.
And why do you support that over Obamacare?
Do not like Obamacare. I don't like anything that has to be forced for everybody to buy. This is not good.
Do you think Obamacare is socialist?
Yes, I do.
Do you think the Affordable Care Act is socialist?
No.
Do you believe that Obamacare will eventually lead to gun prohibition?
Right behind me is the world headquarters of Centene. Now, Centene is one of the largest healthcare providers in the United States that you may never have heard of. That's because they represent healthcare plans on the ACA. And today, the company announced that they're offering voluntary buyouts in order to help cut costs. In the first quarter alone, Centene lost 2 million ACA members, and their executive leadership expected to continue to decline throughout 2026. And what's one of the reasons why 2 million members have fallen off of plans at Centene in just the first quarter? Well, the Trump administration allowed subsidies to expire, and many Americans can't afford these healthcare plans. Right now, Centene is allowing employees to apply for this voluntary separation program. However, reports indicate that if not enough people take it, layoffs will be coming. With 61,000 employees, it's a big reminder that policy decisions in DC have rippling effects across this country. And of course, it wouldn't be me without saying this, but I still can't believe that this company would make a $50,000 donation to Donald Trump's inauguration.
These Trump voters admitting that they didn't realize that Obamacare was the Affordable Care Act when they vehemently hated Obamacare is one of the most openly racist things I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't understand how they don't have the critical thinking and the thought process to just know not to say that out loud because of just how simply racist it is that they were so against Obamacare just because they associated it with Obama, which was the point. That's why Republicans coined Obamacare, so that racist people would hate it without understanding what it was. And that's exactly what they're admitting happened by saying they hated Obamacare and they thought Trump was going to get rid of Obamacare, but they have the Affordable Care Act and they didn't realize they were the same thing. I wish I don't wish that they would keep it in, but it's insane to me that they don't have like a maybe 2 or 3 step thought process that tells them don't share that out loud because you are self-exposing that you are super racist.
Hey, I just Googled, can illegal people in the United States get, what did I say? Let me see what I said. Free healthcare in the United States if they are illegal. Emergency care is provided for all. Hospitals must treat and stabilize anyone who comes into an emergency room regardless of citizenship or ability to pay.
That's emergency room. You're talking about health insurance.
I'm not done. I've told you that, though. If they would get hit in the street, they will be taken by ambulance. Who do you think pays for all of that? We do.
Hang on. Let me ask you this. What's the alternative? They should be left in the street to die?
No.
What do you propose we do about that?
We are caring for them already. Here's limited state or local programs. Yes. Some states and cities have their own programs that help illegals. California, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, Oregon, and Washington State offer state-funded Medicaid to cover undocumented children and undocumented adults.
That's state funded. That's not federal.
These are state or county funded, not federal. You're right.
My name is Sarah. I'm a health economist. I study healthcare financing, including insurance, and I have the answer to your question. Also, for everyone who's watching this, please do not go into that woman's comments and harass her. This is for educational purposes. So, just so we're clear there. Now, I've made several videos, which you are happy to look back on why health insurance in the next year is going to be very expensive. There's actually several reasons. However, I want to go to the specific reason you mentioned about the Affordable Care Act subsidies. When the Affordable Care Act was passed, there were two measures that were meant to make the plans on the exchanges more affordable to enrollees. The first is the premium tax credit. And so when you enroll in an Affordable Care Act marketplace plan, you received a tax credit that would ultimately be applied in theory to your premium or what you pay every month for health insurance. The second is known as the cost sharing reduction. So when you actually use your healthcare or your health insurance, it decreases the amount of money necessary to pay down your deductible and other out-of-pocket costs. So when you actually go to use your health insurance, it's more affordable. Now, these subsidies were implemented in the original version of the law that was passed in 2010. Now, when former President Biden was elected in 2021, Congress passed something known as the American Rescue Plan. It was the first big budget bill meant to stimulate the economy during the COVID-19 pandemic. And in that bill, it included something known as the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies. Essentially, because at that time, we were at an inflection point in the COVID-19 pandemic. There was an effort among lawmakers to make health insurance more attractive so that people would be incentivized to actually go to the doctor and treat themselves. So what these enhanced subsidies did is it reduced the maximum amount that people had to pay for health insurance coverage on the Affordable Care Act exchanges, as well as make the plans available to more people by expanding the income limits for the enhanced subsidies. These subsidies were expanded additionally in the Inflation Reduction Act passed in 2022. Now, the subsidies in the Inflation Reduction Act are set to expire at the end of this year in 2025. And these enhanced subsidies were a pretty popular policy decision for Americans because the number of people receiving those subsidies has increased from 12 million people in 2021 to 1.4 million people in 2024. And the vast majority of people, around 75% of the people who receive those subsidies, make less than 250% of the federal poverty line, which is a little under $38,000 a year or less. Now, the reason why we bring up the One Big Beautiful Bill and why it's important is because it was a budget reconciliation bill. So with the enhanced subsidies expiring at the end of 2025, the One Big Beautiful Bill would have been the perfect mechanism for which Congress to do that. And there were a lot of debates about whether or not Congress should even do that. However, Congress chose not to enact the enhanced subsidies. Several lawmakers claimed that these enhanced subsidies were simply costing too much and a pandemic era policy that we should just discontinue. So because the One Big Beautiful Bill did not extend those enhanced subsidies, we are approaching what is essentially a subsidy cliff, if you will, which means that starting in 2026, we will go back to the previous subsidies that are less generous than the ones passed in 2021.
It's not a disaster, and I really wish y'all would stop spreading that lie. And it's got to be because either A, you're too young to remember what the financial market and environment looked like back in like 2006, 2008, or you got a very short memory. I entered the workforce back in 2006, the same year I entered college, and the minimum wage was $5.15 an hour. Maybe 1 or 2 years after that, it was $6.55 an hour. At $5.15 an hour, $6.55 an hour, you were not getting insurance through the company. I remember that vividly. That premium was going to at least eat up 1 week of your check, and you only making $200 a week anyway. And you for damn sure wasn't going to get it privately because the premiums are even higher. This is why people back in the day told y'all, get a job with the post office, get a job with the city, get a job with the state, work for the government. Why? Because you may not get rich working for the government, but them benefits are going to make sure you're taken care of. But if you want to know the value of the ACA, you can just look at the benefits they celebrate. Do you know how many people were denied coverage due to pre-existing conditions? Do you understand how many people had the prices of their insurance jacked up just because they got sick? Y'all are harder on this legislation than y'all are on the companies that cause need for legislation. High premiums existed long before the Affordable Care Act. High deductibles existed long before the Affordable Care Act. Medical debt definitely existed long before the Affordable Care Act. In fact, medical debt has always been one of the leading causes of bankruptcy in the United States. The Affordable Care Act was originally meant to be a step toward universal health care. The problem is nobody else has taken another step to actually accomplish the goal of universal health care for citizens of the United States. Y'all got to start doing some research on your own instead of regurgitating these talking points that are completely unfounded.